Hey, everybody. We have got Michael Goldstein from the Can Report.
Nozzle Tov.
Nozzle Tov, yep. Uh, so we figured, me and Mike talked back and forth a lot, and we said, I was on his for a little while back, so I said, it's time to return the favor. And so we're going to have some real conversations, talk about some stuff that's happened recently, and try to spark some ideas for the WWW, right? And yeah, before anybody says anything, for the people that are watching this on top of, people just on Spotify, my hat does say what it says. It is for the University of South Carolina. Okay. This is 100% PG, guys. Okay. I am a loyal Gamecock fan. Always have been, always will be. Yeah, I know we suck, but yeah, we are the loyalist of fans. Trust me.
You know what's funny is that because back in the day, like in the 90s, all those teams that would have that, and that's what kids would wear at school, right? Because they knew they couldn't get in trouble because it was a sports team.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, people used to rock those hats back in the 90s when I was in high school. And it was just a thing. No one even knew what the team was. They just knew it said Cox on it.
Yeah. University of South Carolina Gamecocks. Yeah. And
well, thanks for having me, Wayne. This will be fun.
It's going to be a blast. So, for anybody that doesn't know about Mike and the Can Report, give us a rundown.
Yeah, man. They call me Stickers. It's a nickname I got 13 years ago when I joined the fire service. I live in the town of Milford, which is in New Hampshire, southwest New Hampshire. I am married, been married now for 16 years. I have soon to be 16-year-old girls. So you do the math on that one. They're twins, and I work for the Derry Fire Department in the town of Derry, which is about 40 minutes away from where I'm at. Also a staff instructor for the New Hampshire Fire Academy. I obviously run a podcast, and I am just an avid fan and of everything fire service related. Got the bug and it never stopped, and I love to learn anything and everything about it.
That's a pretty good rundown.
Yeah, quick and easy.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares about the certs, like like the credentials and things like that. That really doesn't matter. Like that's just like people just start turning, they start turning down the volume when you start rattling off all that crap. So that's about me.
We don't want to put the alphabet behind it.
Yeah, we don't need the alphabet. I don't even have it. I don't even have alphabets. I mean, the only alphabet I have is EMTB. That's the only thing I
got. I was throwing a jab to Ian. I know he's going to listen, so.
I love Ian, my man. Yeah, didn't do that.
No, I don't want to, because then it shows the chicken.
Oh, okay.
But no, let's. You've done some big things. You've done a lot with the Can Reports. You've got you're getting close to hitting 4,000 people following, which is really good for the amount of time you've been doing it.
You've been watching, huh?
Yeah.
You've been looking at my numbers.
Yeah, I am. A good who studies his material.
That's right.
I heard somebody else say that. Homework is imperative. Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not by cheek steel nor tolerate those who do. But you're close to 4,000 followers, and in a short amount of time, in the world of what we were living in, a really, really fast time, you've got a good crowd following you. You've started writing.
Yeah.
And because that's something real new.
Yeah. I've always wrote. Like, I have journals in my closet from when I was a teenager of writing poetry and writing stuff about everything. Because back when I was a kid, life wasn't all that great. And I'm very transparent about that. I talk about physical abuse and mental abuse and divorce and everything the bad stuff that happened when I was a kid. And I used to just hold myself up in my bedroom, and I would just read and I would write. Like we were just talking earlier before we joined is, I suck at reading, but when I was a kid, that's all I ever did. And I would shut the door and I would just fly through books. because I didn't want to be out in the living room with my stepdad, because my stepdad would beat the crap out of me, or my stepmom would do something. So like I would just literally just sit in my room and read, and but I read science fiction, so that's I read stuff like medieval worlds and things like that, and it take me away to another place,
Yeah.
and I loved it, right? And um, but I would also sit and write, so I'd be in my room and I would just write. I would try to write like songs and or poetry, and just literally how I'm feeling. And I still have those journals in my closet, and um, when I was going through even my darkest times in my previous department, same thing. I would write, just write notes. Honestly, if I was writing, like I was writing a letter to my chief, I would write that to myself, and I feel like I'm addressing it to the chief. It was never sent, but it was just something to help relieve that stress,
Sure.
right? Um, but as I've been doing this and finding my voice and feeling more comfortable talking and expressing myself, I figured, you know what, I'm going to start. Honestly, you and a lot of others encouraged me to, because I would write those little stuff on Facebook, right? Like
Yeah.
something would strike me, especially when I'm in the gym. When I'm at the gym, that's when literally my creative juices start flowing for writing, and I would, my workouts would take forever because my brain was working at its maximum capacity. So all of a sudden I get inspired by something. I would write, I'd pick up my phone and go into the notes, and I would just start writing. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm done. I'm like, crap, my workout's 30 minutes longer. But when I would post that to social media, and people like you and others are like, dude, you should probably like start writing those things, like actually write an article, because you're hitting some good stuff. And so I never really thought I was good enough to write an article. And so I really started concentrating more on doing that. And for me, I'm like super, I love to observe. I love to see, I love people watching, right? And I love watching everything that goes on around us. So I'm very observant about people and how people treat other people, and how I act and how other people act. And that's what I usually write about. And that seems to inspire me the most, because I guess maybe it's the imposter syndrome. I don't feel that I'm good enough to write tactics or operational things. As much as I study the fire service, and as much as many classes that I'll take, I still feel that I'm never good enough to write anything on that platform of actual, how this is how you pull a hose, this is how you move a line, or when you're doing a size up, whatever. But observing people and emotions and how we should treat everyone, that's why I feel like I'm more proficient in, because I've experienced those things, and I feel like that's my subject matter for me.
Okay. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I suffer from imposter syndrome a lot of times too. And most of the time, the medium I write in, or the genre, or however you want to call it, is I try to stick to what I know: mentorship, instructor. Try to do a lot of I try to do a lot of motivational stuff in my writing, trying to fire
Mhm.
people up and get them going. And I still like I'm not good enough for that. I mean, or not, is it delivering the way it should be? Because we're like we were talking about earlier, we were pre-gaming, we are always our own worst critics. We
Yeah.
truly are. um, but the one that you just wrote, and it was actually published from Firefighter Nation, and
Hmm.
dude, that thing hit home. It really did. When I and the time it posted, because I troll Michael constantly, um, but I try to keep him in check. But no, the time it posted on Nation, I was like, I got to read this. So I read it and I was like, whoa. I said, everybody in the fire service needs to read this article. I don't care if you've been in the fire service for 25, 30 years, you can relate to this article. And if
Yeah.
you're just getting started in the fire service, you need to read this article. And it was just so good and so real. And I just think a lot of people could benefit from that. And as podcasters, as writers for our little articles we do, and I've done a couple of books, and I'm working on second revisions, because to me those weren't good enough. I wrote them like a research paper. I'm trying to do redos of them, so I can make them sound like me. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how you can type cornbread, but I'm going to try. Um, just have to slow it down. Um, put two spaces between each word. That way it draws out.
Yeah.
But it's something that everybody can relate to. It's something people need to hear because it's something that the people that can relate to it and truly know it, they know how long it took to get to where they are and the
Yeah.
work that it took to get to where you are. And I'll go two folds on that article, and I really want you to dive in on that article in just a second. But the first thing of it is anybody that's successful in the fire service and says they've done it by themselves is a liar. And anybody can just call them out right now because nobody's done it by themselves. Somebody has helped them in some way, shape, or form. They've extended the olive branch, or they've dumped tons of wisdom in with them, spent time with them, helped groom them, mentor them. And sometimes people want to grow too fast. And one thing I can remember my grandmama used to say, if a tree grows too quick, the roots won't never hold. So sometimes you got to cut the top of the tree out to give the roots time to catch up. That way your tree
I
don't
love the
grow.
way Southern people talk.
I mean, I don't know. I got some other ones I'll tell you later. I can't say on here. So
Wait, like when I was in Mississippi, or and just even just me and the guys from Mississippi, just off topic, the way that they form their words and their phrases, I was like, man, I can listen to you guys forever. Just the way you guys put things is way different than what we do up here. So I got to give you all you Southerners props, like the way you guys can phrase something. It really is. It's poetry. It really, really is. I love it.
but no, I want you to tell everybody about your article and let's talk about
Yeah,
it. Because I mean, like I was
sure.
saying, it was a slam dunk. It really was.
I appreciate you, Wayne. Like, just to start off, it's always amazing to have people support you, right? And especially what we do in the world of the fire service community, whether you're writing, whether you're doing podcasting, you're teaching, you're doing something new, and you're putting yourself out there. It's very difficult, and it can be sometimes feel lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and have people support you. It means a lot, right? And I really appreciate you and the others that have really come out to support me. It's you can't forget where you came from, and you can't forget your friends.
Yeah.
And so, Wayne, you're definitely our friend, and I appreciate you with all your kind words. It means a lot. So, with that being said, Firefighter Nation. By the way, I love firefighterNation.com. Stephanie White, editor in chief. I love actually what they do too. If you ever notice, they put how long the read is on
Mm-hmm.
the upper right hand corner. So if anybody who doesn't really like to read, you can find out how long it's going to take you. Mine's a 6-minute read. So by all means, please read it. It was only going to take you 6 minutes. You're going to be off the toilet before that. So um, with my article, I was inspired by a dinner I was having with two people that I found very influential to me, and they were having a conversation at the table and just talking about earning your place and how you just can't sit down and expect to be given the golden cup, that you're gonna, for people who want to make it into the circuit, right? The circuit, because we talk about that a lot, the circuit this, the circuit that. I want to be in the training circuit for this, training circuit for that. um, and it's definitely a great world. It's a scary world, but it's great when you get to be into that part of it. You meet your heroes, right? You're meeting all these people that you idolize and look up to. So you want to be inserted into that as fast as possible, but you have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take your time, educate yourself, and grow. And eventually they're going to meet you, hopefully, and they're going to see you. So like for me, the conversation at that table was by these two people that have been doing amazing things in the fire service. And I was just so inspired from what they were saying, and it was so heartfelt from what this person was saying, that I sat there in awe, and it just resonated with me. And it's all like, actually, it almost consumed me. It was all I was thinking about, because we talk about imposter syndrome, right? We talk about, are we fit to do this, or have we earned it? Am I good enough? And he really, it just struck a nerve with me in a good way. And that's all I could think about. It was like, okay, as I'm progressing in this, as I'm growing this, I want to earn my seat at the table. I want to be respected in what I'm doing. I don't want to be insta famous. I want to I want to have people to have buy-in from me, that I'm taking the time to know the people. I'm taking time to know the subject, whether instructor, writing, whatever you want to do in this field. But you have to take the time to actually educate yourself and to grow it, because it's real easy on social media to buy followers, to pay money to boost your platform, and people don't know who you are. Again, we were talking about this earlier before we signed on. Like, you'd be 200 miles away and you could be a completely different person, but you also have to have those people within, also in your area, respect you as well, because they're the ones who know you.
Yeah.
So for that conversation, that's what really struck me, is that I gotta earn my place. You gotta earn your seat at the table. Don't just sit down and invite yourself and say, hey, can I be part of your cadre, or can I be a teacher in this conference? I taught this once before. Can I do it with you guys, please, please, please? Like, it doesn't work that way. You do need to have that invitation. They need to see you. And just don't, if you go to conferences and you want to show everybody how awesome you are, you're just going to come off as egotistical, right? Because you're not there to learn. You're there to show the bigwigs who you are, and that way you can be invited to their party. But you didn't learn anything, so all the knowledge and education they try to pour into you, you're not absorbing it. Because you're not listening. You're not focused on that. So it really, it for me, it made me reflect. It made me realize that I need to slow down, and I need to appreciate what I'm doing and grow as a person, as an educator, and eventually good things will come if you work hard and wait for that invitation. And honestly, my good friend Dan Nowell from Keen Fire, he's a very deep person as well. And when I was talking about the article, and he said, or you can build your own table. And that's how I ended it, right? You can build your own table. And he's absolutely right. If for whatever reason you're not invited to that golden table, make your own and find people that you have something in common with. Because maybe the people you're looking up to, the big names or whomever you idolize, once you meet them, they might not be who you think they are, or they just never see your worth. But the people that do are right in front of you. So build that table and push those chairs out and have your friends come join you at that table, because they're the ones who've been by your side all along.
I like that. I like that a lot. That reminds me of the story where, and it's got nothing to do with the fire service, but exactly with what you just ended up finishing that with, was about the dad that gave his daughter a car. And he said, go to this place and find out what it's worth. Used car place. They offer like $1,000. He said, now take it to this place. And she took it to another place and they offer like 5,000. And then she ended up taking it to some kind of car club, and people were offering her hundreds of thousands of dollars for that car. And I don't know what kind of car it was. It doesn't matter. The thing about it is he was trying to teach her that your worth is based on what you are around. Some people might not know what your worth is, just what you're saying. But if you get around the right group, they do know what your worth is, and they're willing to invest in it or to pay for it. They see that thing in you that you don't see in yourself. Because that girl, all she seen was a dirty old car.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love observing. I love getting those lessons when I least expect it. And for me, I was not expecting that. I was very privileged and blessed to be able to sit at the table with them and just have dinner. And I literally just sat there and just listened and absorbed, and everything just hit home for me. And that's pretty much what I just love to listen. And if I can gain knowledge from those who've come before me, who put in the work, then I'm going to take it. However, what form it comes in, I'm going to learn from that way. And again, I've been writing for a while, and everything I wrote like lately. I don't automatically put out. I like have pages and pages and notes of all these things I think would be really good to put out, but I don't normally do it. But this one was just it really did, it hit home, and I thought if I took so much from that brief meeting, that I think other people would probably get something out of it as well, because we do get caught up in the whole social media world. It's like I wrote that little blurb, that little article I did on Facebook a while ago about go paint a shed.
Hmm.
I was sitting at home and everyone's scrolling. I was off shift. I just got off shift and I plopped myself on the couch and I literally just scrolling. And as I was scrolling, it felt like it was like here in my face. It felt like everyone was just yelling at me, and it just was overwhelming me. And I just literally just threw my phone to the side and like, I got to do something. And I just got up and I knew I needed to paint that shed. It's been bugging me because I hadn't painted it in months. Winter's coming soon. Like, you know what? I'm going to get this done. And it wasn't like I said to make it a perfect paint job on the shed, but man, it was
I
relaxing.
was
It
about to say
felt
it was
good to
probably
just,
therapeutic for you.
oh man, I like literally, like I was glued to every stroke that was coming across that wood, just focusing on the strokes, just focusing on the paint, just being applied to every fiber of that wood. And just absorbing everything about that, but then listening to everything around me too, like just nature, the wind blowing, the squirrels running in the leaves, kids playing in the background. Like that was so that was so relaxing. That was meditation for me. And I don't normally meditate, but that was literally like meditation. And that's the thing. You don't have to sit down, cross your legs and right, for meditation. It can be something just like that. It can literally, you just free your mind with something that seems so mundane, but really just free your mind, relax. And so we do get caught up in the social media world. There's so much out there, and I think it's easy to forget why we do this, and we want to be invited to everything. And at times, like I said, you just have to let it come to you. And you have to, like in my article, I write like when I went to Dad. What I was referring to in this article was I was at Dadgum for the first time, and I had met Kevin Pfluger and Tom Hollick and Rob Ramirez and all these amazing people, and some I never even met before. And all of a sudden, I realized how amazing they were by the first time of meeting them. And they were talking about how they go to Mexico to teach,
Hmm.
and I thought that was so cool. Now, I had just met these guys, and me being naive, I'm like, if you ever need somebody to help you in Mexico, I'd love to help you out. I'll be your gopher. I'll be your, I'll clean this. I'll do that. And because I was so excited, and I was asking Kevin about that, and he was very polite about it. And he said, this is kind of something special for us. You really, we have to know you for a long time to be invited to do this. And I wasn't insulted by that, and he was very polite, but it made me realize, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? So who am I to ask somebody, hey, can I have a trip to Cabo with you? Like, I barely know you, but can I come join you guys? Like, that's not how it works. And for these cadre groups and for these conferences too, like these guys work with each other for a long time, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
the Dagum guys, Bears of the Oath, Ambassadors of Craft, like all the bigger groups out there, right? Brothers in Battle. These are amazing guys who've done a lot of stuff and spent a lot of time, but they spend a lot of time with each other,
Hmm.
earning their trust, knowing their worth. They've worked with each other, so they know how to actually move hose lines together, cut cars together, do research but they know how to instruct with together, and they trust each other, right? Somebody like me, they barely know who I am. They don't know what I know or what I do know. So like, you got to earn that. So
Yeah.
that's really the whole basis of that article, is just earning trust and earning your own way.
Now I can relate to that 100%, and doing the work. I don't think a lot of people have a problem doing the work. I'm a prime
No.
example. Um, I waited very late in my career to start going out and doing things. I was a workaholic. I work on shift and I work another full time job all between that because got three kids and trying to be a dad and everything else and take care of them. Softball, travel ball. Anybody can relate knows that takes another full time job just for travel ball.
Yeah. My
Um,
daughter does travel ball.
mhm. But so, and like you say, is lonely. It is when you're working hard, believe me, guys. It's lonely, and there's plenty of people that are listening to this right now know exactly what we're talking about because they're living it too. And it's almost like you're doing the work because you don't want anything given. You don't want to be up there saying, "Can I please, please, please?" Like you were saying earlier, we're doing the work, but it's almost like. And I apologize to anybody I've ever done this before to, because I can promise you I've done it. I probably still do it and don't realize it. But when you get that little bit of attention, it's like, oh, it's like I'm okay, okay, and you're steady going because we. It's almost like you finally feel like you're getting something of what you're working for, so you try to capitalize on it and push and push and push, and then a lot of times we push people away because we want something. We're so passionate about it, we're going after it, and sometimes we just need to work a little bit and wait. The easiest way to say it is plant the seed, let that grow. Then you plant another seed, let it grow. And it was very hard for me to learn that. And sometimes it's still hard to be patient because I'm patient with with my job. I'm patient with everybody because I understand it's sometimes it takes a lot of reps. Sometimes it gets this, but I'm not patient with myself. That's the one thing I'm not. When I start something, I want it done super fast. I expect to get results kind of quickly, and it's something that I have to regauge myself to, and I can relate to that in your article as well. Um, like prime example, I'll throw it out there. Transparent, transparent. You were telling me about what you do with the explorers and stuff during the summertime, and I was just kind of like you were talking about in Cabo. I'm like, I would love to have that opportunity. If anything comes open and I can get a chance to go up there and work with the kids, that would be a highlight for me because that's what I do. And I would love it. And you were like, that's kind of our thing, you know. Um, if something comes open and we got a chance, I'll let you know. And it was like no disrespect, no nothing, but it was like we get hungry and we try to go after something, and it's almost like when we feel ourselves doing what we feel is good for the service, we want to do more and more and more, and sometimes we can be overzealous in some aspects.
You want to chase that good feeling,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, it's kind of an addiction, if you will. That's why, like, people scroll on social media, and because it's you're getting those happy feelings, and you get one, you want to chase that, and that's why succeeding, it feels good. The failures feel even worse, and that's why we chase the success, is because it's a better feeling than failure. And but also helping people is what we love to do. It's what we signed up for,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an amazing feeling. And like for the Explorer program, it just happened to. I just fell into it. It's just because I love teaching and I love being around young minds who want to grow and love what we do, and it took off from there. By the way, I also, just again, transparency, I stepped down from the Chiefs role because life has just kind of gotten busy, but
I was trying to look forward to a 70-degree summer. That's really what I was looking forward to. I was.
but I'm going to be there as an instructor, so I am going to continue. I'm continue to be a part of it because my daughter is still in it. So I'm going to stay there as an instructor. But you know, with that, right, you got to know when are you providing a good service or you're not. And for me, I felt like I was providing half service. Like it's a great program, and it deserves someone who can give a lot of attention to it because it is very, very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot, and I know that I couldn't give it what it's worth.
Well, you're being a
But I'm
good
going to
steward for the program.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. And I love promoting it. So, like, I do hope that you can come up. Like when they put out applicants, I think it'd be fantastic for them to come up. Like we've had some amazing guests, and I not even if you just not even just to teach it, but if you love to see what it is,
I just think it would be
I
neat.
think
I
people
mean,
should see it. Right?
as an explorer back in '93, I thought it'd be neat to kind of like go full circle.
Yeah.
One time because no, where we are now, we don't have explorers anymore. We haven't had them in years, and I guess
Yeah.
some kind of thing with insurance or whatever. And
It's a lot of red tape involved with that whole program, but that's the thing. It's just it's I wanted to chase that feeling. That was what happened. Like I when I joined the Explorer Academy, I was just signed up to be an instructor. But then I saw the void spaces that need to be filled. So I started helping out more and more, and I grew in that spot. That felt really good. The success of the program felt good for everybody, and I was chasing that. And but you have to again take a step back. Are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for them? So for me, I had to realize like, okay, I need to do it for them. So I stepped back, and somebody else who's got a lot more ambition and time can do it. I'll be there, coaching them along, and being right there and being the biggest supporter I can for the program.
So last week I posted something up on Facebook, and it goes really good with what we're talking about right now. And it was on a little chalkboard thing, and it says, "If you get pushback from your effort, it's okay, because even a plane has to go against the wind to lift up and soar."
It's deep.
Yeah, poetry, man, poetry. Um, I mean, it correlates with what we're talking about right now. It correlates with waiting, earning your seat at the table. If you don't get a table yet, either you can, like you said, you can build your own table, or you can do a little homework. What else have I got to do? Be patient. It's learning lessons all of us have to go through, and it's a constant thing. And just because I'm still waiting right now, because all of us have projects we're working on. We're still waiting to hear something back on. And the whole time it's like, is it good enough? Did I work hard enough? Were they impressed? It's anybody that's ever applied to teach at a conference knows exactly what I'm talking about. Is the anticipation is worse than I can't even talk. The anticipation is worse than the denial letter. It truly is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because again, I never feel that I'm good enough, so I haven't applied to many places, but I just recently did, and I'm in the same boat with you. Like, when am I getting this letter? Am I getting the good newsletter, or am I getting the bad newsletter? And I had a great conversation with Rob Fisher, and he talked about that, with failures,
Mm-hmm.
and like he didn't get an FDIC this year, which is or for 2026, right? He got his no thank you. That's, I mean, for someone like Rob Fisher, right? Like that's crazy, because he's such an amazing instructor. He's got so much knowledge, but it's not crazy. And if you think about it, right? Like
Yeah,
you do have to make room for new
I
people.
was
You do
fixing to
have
say,
to,
yeah.
right? So you have to keep it fresh all the time. And what I love when Rob talks about that is he's okay with it. Yeah, it sucks, but you got to make way for the new generation. And he's been there for a very long time,
I'm going to
and
say
he
probably
enjoys it.
last 7 or 8 years or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's so humble about it,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody likes that failure. It's not failure, and it's not failure either, right? We classify it as failure because we didn't get in, but we tried, we made an effort. So is that really failing because you still made the effort to try something people normally don't do? Because there's a lot of people who don't like. You wrote a book, dude. Like whether people like it or not, you wrote a book. I didn't write a book. You wrote one. Not everyone can do
Yet
that, right?
you haven't wrote a book yet.
Yeah. But that's whether you got bad reviews, that's not a failure because you succeeded in publishing that book
Yeah.
and putting that together, right? So I guess everybody has a different way of classifying their failures. And for me, I'm trying to look on the brighter side of things. And for me, that's you can't take everything as bad news as a fail, but you learn it's a lesson. You can, and you ask those questions. So like when I talk about like for oral boards, when you go in front of the oral board, ask them, what could I have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you got the job or didn't, right? But ask them those questions. How was my interview? What could I have done differently? And if you didn't get the job, then definitely ask that question. What can I do differently to get this job? What do I need to improve on? It's the same thing with with conferences, books, or articles, you need to ask for the feedback. If you never do, then yes, you're going to continue to fail. You're never going to make it past go, right? So it's a learning lesson. Life is all about learning. And if you take failures and you take them poorly and don't learn from them, then you're never going to grow. And in your mind, you're never going to succeed.
And I like what you were saying there. And a lot of times, everything I do, I talk and preach and preach and preach on perception, because perception is everything. I truly do believe on this. How we
Mm.
perceive things really makes or breaks. And there's two things that I can think of right now. One is you can always be a half glass empty, half glass full, right? Look at it through the aspect is there something in the glass, yes or no, or is it empty? And don't be half empty, half full. Is there something in there or not? And we need to
Mm.
think of ourselves that way too, because if we've got something in the glass, nothing says we can't go back to the faucet and put some more water in it. That's
Right.
that's how we need to look at it as far as how we work.
I
And
like
that,
that.
just something a little different.
Mm.
Another thing of it is something I've talked about for years and years, and I preach it to my kids, and my daughter ended up getting it tattooed on her arm. I mean, but it says what happens to you in life is not what makes you who you are, but how you respond to it does. And I tried to really instill that in my kids, and I still do it to my recruits and everything else. What happens in life is what happens in life. That doesn't make you who you are. How
Yeah.
your resilience after the fact is what truly who makes you who you are. And that's what we need to, as an instructor, as a mentor, as good stewards of the fire service. That's what we need to be showing the younger generation. That no matter how many times we get knocked down on our ass, we're going to get right back up and keep on going.
Yep.
Because if not, then we're going to get that glass is half empty mentality. No, I still got water in it. I'm going. It's not half empty. It's not half full. I got water in it.
Yep. 100%. When I'm teaching my recruits, there's no quit.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. Like if you're in that building and you're doing an evolution, whether it's RIT or hose movements or whatever it might be, and it's tough, you can't stop because when you quit on the drill yard, you're gonna quit in the fire grounds.
Hmm.
Same thing in life. You can't quit just because you get one piece of bad news doesn't mean you stop. Because if you stop, then you're gonna stop whenever it gets difficult. Just keep going. It sucks. Everybody wants the piece of the pie. Everybody wants to get the best of the best and be invited to all these great parties or the conferences or whatever it might be. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're really genuinely care and you want to help others and you have a good message and it's not just to be insta famous and it's not just to grow a platform again it might, like in my article, it might sound hypocritical because I am on Instagram all the time. I'm on the podcast and stuff, but like again, we've talked about it. I'm not making any money off of
No.
these things, right? I do it because I care. I do it because I love doing it. It was therapeutic for me to build my platform. I was feeling incredibly down, really bad things happening, and instead of just rolling over and taking it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to build a voice. I'm going to say things that people that might be reluctant to say, and they know that hey, you know what? This guy's feeling the same way I am.
Yeah.
Um, but you have to continue to grow that. It needs to be organic. You can't force it. You can't push it upon people. If nobody listened, I still would have kept going with it because it was therapeutic to me and I enjoyed what I was saying. Right. But if you're just trying to push your face out there because you want to be invited to every party, well, eventually people will be like, well, this guy's got nothing else to offer except this one thing,
Yeah.
or he's becoming annoying because he keeps asking me to be a part of every single thing. And you're just going to kind of you're going to be known for that. And are you bringing any value to the table? Because that's why a lot of people want you there because you have value. You're bringing something special into something that didn't have it yet. So that's kind of my thing. That's my advice to the world is like if you want to build something, you want to grow something, do it for you.
Yeah.
Just don't do it because you want to have clout or you want everyone to see you. Do it because you generally care. And for me, I genuinely care. Like, it's like for my podcast, I don't talk a lot about tactics and operational stuff because I just want to know about the person.
Mhm.
I really enjoy learning about Uncle Wayne. I really enjoy learning about my guests, who they are, what makes them tick, their background, and again, it might be boring to other people, or it might be really interesting to other people. It's whatever you make of it.
You're exactly right, and I'm kind of the same way. I'm not doing strategy and tactics. There's enough podcasts around. I don't need to join that bandwagon. Those guys are doing great. You know,
Hmm.
mine come through the trying to make it as organic as I can. Um, and the topic my platform's on, there's kind of like there's really not a whole way to push it very much because I look at the aspect of everybody can be a mentor, and I used this originally as a way to reach out to be able to give advice and mentor others. And it was kind of like we had talked about it in the past and stuff, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. I mean, I'm not running out the door tomorrow, but I want to try to make as much of an impact as I can and steer people the right way so they don't screw up as much as I did. And
Hmm.
I feel like it's a calling and a duty to try to reach out to as many people as possible. Let them know what's going on in the old guy's head. And if I can pass knowledge on that they can be better from, shame on me if I don't. So just like you, this is therapeutic. And I mean, I talk to people all day long. That's what my job is. But in the same aspect, this is my release. It adds to that feel of purpose.
Hmm.
And I know
Yeah,
that's something
absolutely.
I know that's something you can relate to, and I hope that a lot of people use that as a way to reach out to somebody. If you don't do anything but reach out to one person, find one person to dump some knowledge in, because both of us have been in the fire service pretty close to the same amount of time. Um, I see a trend coming back. You know, in years past, mentorship was huge, firemanship was huge, and over the last 2 decades, I've seen that downward thing happen where it's more, you know, I'm not knocking alphabets. Okay. I'm working on mine. I'm not going to lie. But, it was EFO this, EFO that, CTOs, all that, and you've seen and that was pushing more than firemanship and mentorship and stuff. You've seen that some of the traditions of the fire service kind of fading away. And
Yeah.
I'll give bravo to the young guys coming in now because they want it back, and they're showing that they want it back, and there is pushes more for mentorship, and everybody still understands the importance of getting that education, but they understand we want to bring back the traditions on the bay floor like they were. We're going to take away a lot of the hazing that was done 20 years ago because that was kind of rough, and treat more people like people instead of things that were done in the
Yeah.
past. A lot more respect, but trying to make the brotherhood loud and proud again. Because
Yeah.
and I think it's a good thing.
I think it's great. I couldn't agree more. I think it is slowly starting to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I see with the young kids that are on my job that they're ambitious, they're hungry. They one of the kids from one of my other battalions, he was telling me how he just wanted to go throw ladders. And this kid's, I don't think he's old enough to drink yet. I think he's 20, and he was one of our explorers from the Explorer Academy, and he got on. He actually was on my podcast, Keenan Haggerty, and great kid, very very polite, very ambitious, and he just wanted to go out and throw ladders. And he was telling me, he's like, still calls me Mr. Goldstein, which is so funny. He's such a nice kid. So Mr. Goldstein, we threw ladders yesterday. I just wanted to go out and throw ladders, so I was doing that, and then all of a sudden everybody else came out, and then the BC came out and threw ladders with us as well. I was like, that's
That's it.
great.
Yeah.
That's it, dude. Like that, you get it. He got it without anybody even having to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the encouragement that he gets at his department and the work we did with him in the Explorer Academy, in his time as being an explorer in his hometown, he gets it, and he wants to keep building that culture and keep working hard and doing great things. And if you have a positive attitude, other people are going to follow that.
Hmm.
And he has a very positive attitude, and people are usually attracted to people with very positive attitudes, right? It's a magnet. They're going to want to go towards that. Nobody ever goes towards the person who's always got a crappy attitude the whole day, right? They're going to avoid him or her. So when you have somebody who is ambitious and young like that that wants to have fun, you're automatically going to be magnetized to that, and you're gonna follow them, want to see what the young buck's doing and teach him some things, and or he's going to teach you some things.
Yeah.
Um, so it goes both ways. I really do love learning from the young kids, because they come right out of the academy and they've been doing the reps like over and over and over again. So when like, show me what you learned in the academy. Maybe you're going to hopefully you're going to teach me something. If you're paying attention, you should be able to teach me something new. So I love learning from the new kids because they're so excited to do it. They might be a little nervous, and if you just like say, no, I'm seriously, I want to learn from you. Like, let's do this. You're actually going to learn a lot. That's being losing the ego, having an open mind, and building that culture that they're hopefully going to follow and carry on when you're gone.
Yeah. And another thing of it is, and I'll throw it out there because a lot of people don't realize it, but helping those kids teaches you so much about yourself. And I'll get real deep with it. It helps so much with your humility, how you treat people, everything else. When you spend more time with the young guys out working with them and stuff, they help teach you about the person you are. If you want to, work on who you are, they help you without even realizing they do.
They do.
Um, they
Like,
truly.
that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I got into the Explorer, because I just was going and teach. I was going to teach for 1 week, but man, like, I was going through some really dark times, and the opportunity was like perfect. The planets aligned, and again, I'm not a super religious person, but I believe God has a plan for all of us, and God's plan at that time was leading me down that road to work with these kids, and I had never thought about doing it before. And I started working with them. And after that, it was a tough week. It was a lot of work. But once that camp officially ended on that day, it was amazing. I felt so alive. I felt overjoyed. I didn't have the anger. I didn't have the depression. And it wasn't just me feeling that either. Like, there was a bunch of adults that all said the same thing. They're like, holy shit, I feel great.
Yeah.
These kids made me feel good. And a lot of them don't know that, right? A lot of these kids, they just went home going, man, stickers was really cool. Chief stickers did this, chief stickers did that. But what they don't know is, I was like, man, that kid Jim was awesome. That kid, Susan did this, or whomever. Like, they made me happy.
Oh
I
yeah.
learned from them, right? And so they have no idea what they did to us. And so that's that joy of it. That's that reward.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I think, like, for you and a lot of other people, when they ask, can I join the Explorer Academy? I'll never say no. But it's just like, we can't have everybody there because we're going to overwhelm the kids. We're going to overwhelm the campus. So we have to be careful of who we have there, because they're obviously the kids. We can't just have the whole world show
Right.
up. But the fact that people know what that's like, and they want to be part of it, because you need to be lifted up. And those kids are really lifting us up. They don't know they're doing it, but they are. And when that week's over, that's when everybody realizes how much they actually needed it. And because, especially if you put in the work as an adult of making it that a success, that's when you feel it even more. If you're not putting in the work and you just drift on by and you let everybody else do the work, you're not going to feel that same joy. You're not going to feel that accomplishment.
Hmm.
You're gonna be like, yeah, that was fun, but you're not going to feel anything really. It was more of just bland. But if when you pour your heart and soul into something, once it's accomplished, once it's over and it was a success, you're going to be so exhausted, but so overwhelmed with happiness. That's when you know it meant something so much to you.
Yeah. I love it. I love it because there's no truer of a statement than that. I mean, as we all get up in age, muscles will be tired, but heart will be full. And
Yes,
mind
sir.
will be clear. But I did hear something new today. It was hilarious. I loved it, and I'll share it with everybody. Do you know what the definition for arthritis is?
I do not.
Early on stage rigor mortis.
Ain't that the truth
Yeah,
right there?
oh, we were doing something, and we were doing something with a rope, and I'm like, God, my knuckles are killing me because they were just getting stiff. And saying, cold weather starting to get cold and all, and they're like, yeah. I said, yeah, man. I said, when you get old, you'll get arthritis too. And they said, nah, it's really not arthritis, Cap. It's early on stage rigor mortis. Get ready.
I
I'm like,
like that. That's a
whoa,
good
all
one.
right. Start to throw jabs before you ever find a firehouse. I like it. Um,
That is very cool. I love it.
so we're going to flip the script.
Yeah.
So you are always behind the mic. So let's talk about being on the other side of it, because and I guess it's a little different with me and you because it's a constant bromance from text messages and Facebook and everything else. So we're constantly talking all the time.
Yeah.
But, recently you have been on a couple other podcasts as a guest.
Hmm.
So talk about the difference in between, hosting one and then being the guest on one.
It's funny you asked that question. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that today with you. One, being a guest, you have to like, because you're so used to directing the conversation. So when you're the guest, you really try not to direct it, and steer where the conversation needs to go.
It's hard.
Um, it is difficult, right? Because you don't want the awkward pauses. I mean, editing is fantastic, but we also know when people over edit because it gets wicked choppy, and you're like, oh, what did they say? Why did they take that out? But so you want to direct the conversation, you want to steer it, so you have to try not to do that. Honestly, as a guest, I still feel very self conscious. I feel like, am I talking too much, or am I not saying enough? Um, but I think that goes both ways, honestly, with being whether it's your show or you're the guest, because we do talk a lot on both platforms.
Mhm.
But it is different, especially being on someone you don't know. Like I was just on the debrief with Tyler Burns. I had never seen his podcast before, but he had asked me to be a guest, and it was a good time. Never met them before, and I think that's kind of the hardest thing, though, um, is when you're a guest, is especially with somebody you don't know. It is still nerve wracking. I understand why now guests, when I ask them to come on, if they don't really know me,
Mhm.
they sometimes go, I don't know, let me get back to you. It's just because they want to do their homework
Yep.
and they want to know who you are and the message, because they don't want to be a part of something that's bad or it's going to make them look poor in other people's light.
Sure.
So yeah, it's still fun being a guest. I like it very much. Like I've been on Jake Barnes, his podcast is awesome. So and then Tailboard Misfits with John Velez. If you have a good host, usually as a guest, it's not too bad. But yeah, I think the hardest part for me of being a guest is to not now doing this more is trying not to steer their conversation and trying not to fill gaps if I feel it's getting kind of slow.
I can relate to that. Yeah. And my biggest thing is I'm, and I haven't been on, but like, I think two. And I'm used to controlling and steering the way things go. And I know what questions are going to be asked.
Yeah,
And, sometimes it's like, I got to take a breath for a second and think about this because no matter what, on duty, off duty, there was a great article in fire engineering, or was it in Nation, about social media and being off duty and stuff like that. And
mm,
I still always think about no matter what, I am still representing where I work for, on duty, off
yeah,
duty, whatever. I'm still representing. So I want to make sure that I do my due diligence and I'm not doing anything that would shame where I work. And
yeah.
I'm really cautious about that. And closer I get to retirement, more cautious I am. Um,
Yeah, I guess like that's the thing is like for me again, like learning things the hard way and learning also like how I would want to be treated. and and having issues at my previous job, I know more what not to say, um, whether I'm a guest or a host, because it's not hiding the truth or anything, but it's also not I don't want to embarrass my department. I don't want to embarrass my
Yeah.
family. I don't want to embarrass myself. And some things, you don't have to say all the time. Not everybody needs to know everything. And whether you're a guest or you're a host, like sometimes you just need to keep things to yourself. Again, like in this article I'm hoping to publish soon is, I bring it back to basics. If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. And if you're on these type of platforms, if you feel like you're going to get some shit by it, maybe you shouldn't say it. And so for guests or for hosts, it's the same thing. We just got to be mindful of who's listening, who's watching. If you feel like you don't want your kid to see or hear, probably shouldn't be saying it.
Okay, so I agree 100%. And I think, and one thing I think about is like when you do YouTubes or whatever, whenever we go to put these podcasts in, is this kid friendly? One thing that always gives a thing for me to think about. But with what you just said, made me think of something else. And since both of us write, both of us do podcasts and everything, and it's something we can sit here and have a bumper conversation about. And I think a lot of people will benefit from this because every day, every time I talk to somebody, I'm truly trying to inspire people get out and write. You know, you don't say that what I'm going to write isn't good enough. There's other people to make that determination. Write what's
Right.
in your heart, send it to somebody, let them, they have an editing staff, let them work and do their magic. Um, you know, because you would surprise yourself. I mean, a lot of people that are listening, guys, you will surprise yourself. 500 to 700 words makes them happy. There's fast little 5-minute reads, say what's on your heart, whatever, about things, and send it in. You would really be surprised at the amount of um, good it will do for the fire service to get fresh ideas, fresh minds, and everything else. But one of the big problems, and I look at it that way, and I'm sure there's tons of people, and it keeps them from writing, is if they say something that they're passionate about, automatically it's going to be that they're griping about their department. They're not happy with the way things are where they work. And
Yeah.
I've got one. I've got one. Hopefully, I sent in. Hopefully, it'll publish, and it talks about mental health for training officers, and about how they how they combat things and the repetition of it over and over and over and over. And I think it's a great article, but I already see the backlash of people saying, well, he complains about doing his job. And truth be told, I wrote that article about a friend of mine that is a training officer that works over 3 hours away from where I work
Mm.
because, I've seen the stress of what he does as a one man band for a department.
Yeah.
And it was written for him. But my favorite saying in the world, I bet you $100 to a hot Krispy Kreme donut that somebody will say I'm griping about doing my job, and it's not the case at all. But a lot of times everybody is overly cautious about writing something they're passionate about or something that they have witnessed that they think needs to be said to the world to try to change the minds of how things are done because they're always scared of the ridicule that'll come from the written word.
You're absolutely 100% correct. It's like we talked earlier. You can't be a prophet in your own town. You get 20 miles in a suitcase, and maybe people will actually respect you. When you're trying to bring something pure into this world, you're gonna get a lot of critics, whether you're in your writing, whether you're doing training. Trust me, like we talked about before, like and you and I talk a lot, and we've become good friends where we can vent to each other. I've been a victim of that target. I've been a victim of people critiquing me and feeling that I haven't earned my place or that I'm not worthy enough or, it might be a laughing stock of the New Hampshire Fire Service. But there's other people who do support me. There's people that have seen value in what I am writing or what I am talking about. And for, like I said earlier, is that if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing it because you know in your heart that you want other people to learn from your mistakes or successes and be real about life and be real about who you are, then F the naysayers, dude. Like, the critics are going to be critics all the time. But when your message is strong and clear and has virtue, you know that it's hitting the right people. And that target is going to be on your back no matter what. But you have to keep going. And I can't express that enough. Like, there's just going to be people out there who are just going to have things to say about you. And that's okay. But you're going this way, right? You're facing forward. They're in the back talking about you. So you just got to keep walking forward, because eventually they're going to run out of steam, because you're going to charge even harder. For me, I'm walking faster and harder, and they're not going to catch up with me.
And like I've told you before, I'll tell everybody else, one of the most famous quotes in the world on that very topic was said by Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth said the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was meaning, in my interpretation of that, I can't sit here and talk to the Babe as much as I would love to have that opportunity. But from what I was getting from when he said that is, the people that invest in you are going to help push you, help make you better. The people that are just looking to find a fault are the ones, and the ones that are complaining about the fault and yelling the loudest and everything are the ones that have nothing invested. So think about it. Roll back the clock when Babe Ruth was playing ball. How much you think an upper deck seat could cost back then? A nickel, something like that, Or how much did it cost to get right behind home plate?
Yeah.
It was for the experience. It's easy to sit up top and yell you're a bum when you didn't have but a nickel in the game. So, and I like to look at it that way, because a lot of times now you can look at the boos for two different ways. You can do just like you said and just keep walking forward, but where's the boo coming from? Because then sometimes it goes into that aspect of that good mentorship. But a mentor is not going to boo you. A good mentor is going to come up and say, hey, we need to have a talk. And they're going to lay out that information. And sometimes they'll have the conversation you don't want to hear, but you need to hear so you can grow.
Right.
And if they have that conversation, that means they give a damn enough to have the conversation.
Correct.
The people that is just booing and talking crap all over social media or anywhere else or whatever, it is what it is. And is it disheartening to us? It's disheartening to anybody, whether you've got a podcast or not. We all want people's approval that we do good. We want to be do-gooders. I don't care what you do. If you wax floors for a living, you want somebody to appreciate your work. Or if you're a fireman, or we want to feel that self. We've got our self worth, but we want to be validated by others is truly what we want. And sometimes we just got to not listen. And when you get
Yep.
older, you can pull your hearing aids out and you don't hear it anyway, so you can just kind of go on.
I'll quote. I actually started reading it last month, and I really think he's an amazing person that went down in history. Marcus Aurelius.
Mm-hmm.
Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one.
I like it. I like
And that one, I read a lot of his quotes because I got a book of his quotes. But that one hit a lot for me. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And you have to read it a couple of times to really like absorb it and understand it, right? And that really resonates with me. And it's whether it's man or a woman, but obviously Marcus Aurelius back in the day, it was just about men.
Mm-hmm.
But just be one. You don't have to argue what kind of person needs to be what and how to be one. Just do it. It should be natural. It should be organic. It should just be a good person. There's no definition. You don't have to. That's what he's trying to tell people. You don't have to write about it. You don't have to define it. Just do it. Waste no more time arguing about it. Just go and be a good person. Be a good human, and and just enjoy each other. Let's not eat each other up. Social media, and behind each other's backs, like just take pride in firemanship, take pride in the fact that everyone's got a purpose. There's untapped talents and resources in this world. And I think if we focus more on just being solid people with each other, that culture that we talk about a lot and everything else that goes along with it, it's going to form. We just need to realize like we don't have to always be right. Our opinions don't always have to be heard. Just like, again, on social media, I said it before, like if you see a training video and you don't like it, just keep scrolling.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. You can scroll up and go, man, that sucked. And I'd talk to if it was a person next to me, like, did you see that video? That was stupid. But that's all I had to do was talk to my guy next to me and said, I would never do that. And then it just keeps scrolling. That it bothers you so much that you have to have an argument about it on social media is just silly, right? Because who are you arguing with? You don't know who the person is. So just scroll on by.
Oh
So
yeah.
same thing. Just be a good person.
And throwing it in, I want to be good to throw with it. We talk about wanting to do the work, wanting to find a purpose, all of us are trying to accomplish something. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a better medic, or you're trying to be a better engineer, or a better dad, anything you do, a lot of times when we push forward or we really want something and we go for it, we're going to have setbacks, right? So, one of the things I said the other day is when you pray for rain, prepare to be able to deal with the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an old farmer style quote. The farmer's going to pray for rain so the crops grow, but then you got to worry about being able to get in the field with the tractor from all the mud. So so work hard, you know, don't let anybody say you can't do something. You are your biggest fan club, but always be prepared for the naysayers. Always be
Yep.
prepared for the setbacks. Um, that's the mud. You're going to have to deal with the mud.
Yep.
But after you get out of the field and you run across the asphalt, that mud will sling right off the tires and you'll keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Ah, see, that
Southerners
goes to a
definitely have a
little
way of,
southern thing there. Yeah. See?
you Southerners, man, you guys definitely have a way of putting words. So kudos to you. But yeah, man, that's pretty much for me, man. Like I just learned from years ago, just be nice to people. Life's too friggin' short
Mm.
to worry about what others are doing, to worry about whether what he said or she said, or he didn't throw the ladder right, on social media, or he didn't earn his place yet. Does it really affect you in the long run? Does it really matter? Is it affecting you who you are as a person? Are you losing sleep because somebody else got to go on to a conference and teach, or that
You
they're
can still go to the conference, go as a student.
right, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like it's are you really going to lose sleep over that? Like just be. Really, it's as simple as that. Just be. Just be yourself. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy being. If you're in the public health service sector like we are, then just enjoy it. Enjoy helping people. And because again, life is way too freaking short. And we lose brothers and sisters every day, whether it's suicide, line of duty deaths, and then before you know it's done, right? Before you know either it would suck even more if you think about it. If you're the person you're shitting on the most, whatever reason you have animosity towards them, but you used to be good with them or used to be friends with them, and God forbid something happens, and your last words or the last meeting or the last message you sent to them was out of anger, or spite, or animosity, and you can never take it back. That's something that's got to live with you for a long time, right? That's tough. And again, like in the world that we live in and the job that we do, is that really where you want to think of as like the last message was, or that person, you know, died knowing that you didn't like them, or whatever, it didn't go through their head when they passed away or something. But I'm just saying, like, that's that last thing that you ever got to know of them. So, like I said, in my youth and now in my older years, it's better to just be nice to people. I'm guilty. Honestly, I'm guilty of wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes I'm too soft and I'm too nice. But it's weird because usually it's reverse, right? Usually when life is really hard, you develop that shell and it's hard to crack. I kind of went the other direction. I've become kind of a softie and very in tune with emotions. And man, I could definitely start crying pretty easily when I get on something I'm really emotional about. Like, whether when I'm like my presentation that I have, like I always get choked up when I talk about my kids. And in that presentation, I talk about my kids, and I get a little choked up about it, rightfully so. But um, it's important to know what's important in your life, and
Yeah,
friends, family, faith. That's what we need to hold on to.
I like it. I don't think of anything else to say. That's like the best way to end it. End it with
Yeah, man.
your family, your friends, love for the job. That's it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get out of it that easy.
Uh oh.
The chalkboard is yours. And we've been talking message all night, but now it's your turn to put your special little message on the board for everybody. So,
Well, I'll go with the slogan I already have: is passion is contagious. Infect your crew. That's something that just popped in my head one day. It still means very much to me. That that's why it was on my article for as the picture it had. In that picture, it has Joe Johnson, it has a young Mr. Gillespie, and me in the picture, and it was at Bears of the Oath.
mhm.
And I used that picture because that passion was there. Like, we were all infected by it. It was so contagious of everyone working hard. Bears of the Oath was one of those great programs. It's still out there. By the way, if anyone's looking for to go somewhere that's coming up, you got Bears of the Oath in December, and also they're doing Bears of the Oath in February. Bears of the Oath in February is going to be a Hose Evolution class. The one in December is going to be a RIT class. But the one I took, this was last year. I went to Bears of the Oath, and I've never gone. I met such amazing people, and they were just so passionate about the job, about people, about what we just talked about: faith, family, and the firemanship. Like, they opened my heart, they opened my mind, and nobody was crapping on anybody that whole entire week. It was just firemen doing firefighter stuff, but it was a brotherhood and a sisterhood. Everyone was smiling, having a fantastic time. So for me, passion is contagious. In fact, your crew, it's on my shirts, it's on my stickers, because I believe in it. Because that's something that saying inspired me, because we should have that passion. And if you have a positive influence, it's going to be contagious, and you're going to get that back to everybody else. People are going to want to be infected by it.
There you go. I like it a lot. Passion is contagious, everybody. Mr. Michael Goldstein from the Can Report. If you haven't been following him, get on Spotify, YouTube.
YouTube,
Yeah,
Apple.
yeah. Get on and listen. He's got some good guys coming on there and talking with him. They're laying down some nuggets of wisdom, and
They are,
they're
man.
just
I've been truly blessed, dude. Having you on, having you as a friend. I mean, the guests that I have on. Again, like I talk about, like, it's not the name that I'm trying. I get some really amazing people, and whether they're big or small, whether you know them or don't know them, it's just because they have a good message.
yeah.
And like my recent guest, David Hall, fantastic guy, deputy chief out of Franklin, New Hampshire. Uh, and like, you listen to it, he's spot on, right? Like, he has some really good information, and he has a really good message. Again, loving your crew, loving the job. And my next guest is going to be Chris White out of New Jersey, and he does a crisis support team out of New Jersey. So that's going to be a really great conversation that I hope people take and listen and understand what the crisis intervention team does for us as firefighters and first responders. So we're going to be talking about that on the next episode.
Good deal. So everybody, this is Uncle Wayne. I appreciate you being here. Michael appreciates you being here. Thanks for listening. If you've got somebody you want to have on the show, shoot me a message. Let me know. I will hunt them down to the best of my ability. Um, um, I want to finish it up. We talked earlier about that meditation. You don't have to meditate, guys, but with everything we've got going on, take a few minutes for yourself each day and clear your mind. It's worth it.
Hmm.
Take some time for you. We spend so much time on everybody else. Be selfish for 5 minutes and just get rid of some of the stress. You know, guys, appreciate it being here. Stay safe. Keep learning. Cover the world with chalk dust. Okay. And we'll see you the next time somebody steps up to the chalkboard.